For hundreds of years, Earth had been almost forgotten. To most civilizations across the galaxy, it was just another small, dying planet, a place that had once been home to a powerful species, but had fallen into ruin. Wars, climate disasters, and centuries of neglect had left it scarred and silent. Humanity, once proud and strong, had vanished from the stars, and the galaxy assumed that the species was gone for good. Even the Galactic Council, the ruling body of the most advanced civilizations, did not pay Earth much attention. It was considered a dead world, a relic of the past. The stories of human achievements were treated as myths, half-forgotten tales that sounded more like legends than history. A species that reached the stars and destroyed itself, many said. They were never a threat anymore. But the galaxy did not know the truth. Beneath the surface, hidden deep under mountains, oceans, and deserts, humans had been working. They had not vanished entirely. The few who survived had learned to hide, to move in secret, and to wait. While the empires of the galaxy grew and fought over territories, Earth's last humans were quietly preparing. They were not preparing to conquer the stars again. Not yet. They were preparing for something greater, a return that no one would expect. The project was called Dreadnought, and it was humanity's final plan to ensure survival. It was not a single ship, but a combination of advanced technology, artificial intelligence, and engineering built over decades, hidden in places no one would think to look. Deep under the ocean, enormous shipyards had been carved into the seabed, shielded by layers of energy fields that could not be detected by alien scanners. Mountains concealed massive hangars where weapons, engines, and ancient blueprints lay in silence. Every machine was powered by AI systems that remembered the mistakes of the past and protected the humans who remained. These survivors were not idle. Across scattered colonies on hidden moons and remote asteroids, humans received encrypted messages. They did not speak of revenge or conquest. They spoke of survival, knowledge, and the hope of being remembered. Children were taught the stories of Earth not as myths but as lessons. Adults continued the work of building, repairing, and improving the systems that could one day change everything. Meanwhile, the galaxy continued on, unaware. Trade routes bustled with ships, battleships guarded star systems, and politicians debated in their shiny council chambers. No one noticed the faint but growing energy signatures coming from Earth. The readings were subtle at first, barely detectable, just a flicker in the ocean currents and underground power grids. Scientists tried to interpret the signals, but no one could explain them. They assumed it was natural phenomena, perhaps a leftover energy from the planet's turbulent history. But the signals were not natural. They were deliberate. They were alive. Inside the deepest command centers, humans monitored everything. Every scan of the galaxy, every movement of alien fleets, every potential threat was recorded and analyzed. The AI systems, built from the minds of humanity's greatest engineers and scientists, worked tirelessly. They calculated probabilities, predicted movements, and prepared for contingencies that even the most advanced galactic empires could not imagine. And then, the preparations began to show signs of life. Small secret systems that had lain dormant for decades flickered on. Energy lines hummed with power. Engines designed to move objects larger than cities began to stir. The Dreadnoughts, ships designed to be humanity's ultimate guardians, were not finished yet, but they were close. The humans who watched over them understood the risks. If the galaxy discovered even a fraction of what they had built, they would come in force. But humanity had learned patience. They would wait for the right moment. Time on Earth moved differently than the rest of the galaxy. Centuries passed, but for those who remained hidden, each day was measured in small victories. A repaired engine, a new data archive completed, or a defensive system tested successfully. The planet itself seemed to breathe with them, as if it understood that its species was not gone forever. Oceans that had once drowned cities now hid the greatest secrets of humanity's survival. Mountains that had witnessed countless battles now shielded the last of Earth's great machines. And underground, in labyrinths no alien could ever reach, humans whispered to one another, sharing hope, strategy, and dreams of a future that the galaxy would never expect. But patience did not mean inaction. Humans had learned from history. They remembered the mistakes of old wars, the arrogance that had once led them to the stars without preparation. Every step was calculated. Every plan accounted for the unpredictable nature of alien civilizations. They knew that when the time came, their presence would be shocking. They would not arrive quietly, and perhaps that was the point. For those living among the ruins, life was not easy. Supplies were limited and technology required constant maintenance. Food, water, and shelter had to be carefully managed. Yet the human spirit endured. They shared stories, laughter, and moments of connection. They trained the young, not just in combat or engineering, but in history, culture, and the importance of patience and intelligence. Every child understood that they were heirs to a legacy that no one in the galaxy truly believed existed. Every adult knew that their work was larger than themselves. It was the survival of an entire species. Then came the moment when the energy readings could no longer be ignored. Instruments that had failed to detect anything before began to spike with strange readings. The oceans churned in ways that made satellites tremble. Volcanoes deep underground released heat and pressure in perfect synchronization. Even the stars above seemed to flicker as if acknowledging that something ancient was waking. Humans watched silently, their faces lit by the glow of control panels, knowing that the first phase of their plan was beginning. For the rest of the galaxy, Earth remained quiet, invisible, and irrelevant. No alien fleet dared approach, believing the planet was abandoned. Trade ships passed safely, scientists speculated about minor anomalies, and the Galactic Council held yet another routine meeting, discussing wars and trade disputes far from this small, overlooked world. They did not realize that while they argued and plotted, humanity's final preparations were almost complete. Inside the hidden cities beneath Earth's surface, humans whispered to one another. They did not speak of victory, nor did they speak of power. They spoke of hope. They spoke of survival. And they spoke of a day when the galaxy would remember that humanity had not vanished. It was a silent promise, but it was a promise that would echo across the stars. The Dreadnoughts were ready to rise. The AI systems were ready to guide them. Humanity, hidden and underestimated for centuries, was preparing for a moment that no one in the galaxy could imagine. The planet that everyone had dismissed as dead was alive with purpose, waiting for the right time to show the galaxy the truth. Earth had never been defeated, and so, deep beneath the oceans, mountains, and deserts, humans continued their work. Engines hummed, systems calibrated, and the last pieces of the Dreadnoughts fell into place. Every step was measured, every action deliberate. The galaxy, for all its power and knowledge, did not know that it was about to witness the return of a species that had been underestimated for far too long. Earth was no longer just a forgotten planet. It was a sleeping giant, waiting for the day when its voice would finally be heard. And when that day came, the galaxy would not be ready. After centuries of hiding and waiting, Earth's last humans began to notice changes that no one else in the galaxy could detect. For decades, their sensors had monitored the stars, always scanning for alien fleets, cosmic storms, and signs of trouble. But now the instruments that had been quiet for so long began to flicker with strange readings. At first, it was just small anomalies, energy fluctuations in space, faint pulses that seemed too regular to be natural. In the underground command centers, humans studied these signals carefully. Every signal was analyzed, cross-checked, and recorded. No one wanted to act hastily. The lessons of the past were clear. Mistakes could be fatal. For centuries, humans had underestimated their own need for patience, and now they were determined not to repeat it. They were ready to respond, but only when the time was right. The AI systems that ran the hidden cities had long memories. They remembered everything, every battle, every plan, every failure. And now they began to notice patterns in the data that even humans might have missed. Alien civilizations were starting to stir. Fleets that had once ignored Earth were moving closer to its sector. Ships were scanning empty regions of space looking for resources, unaware that the most dangerous force in the galaxy was sleeping beneath the surface of a planet they thought was dead. The humans did not panic. They never panicked. Instead, they prepared. Deep in the mountains, engineers activated the secondary energy cores that had been dormant for centuries. These cores hummed to life, filling underground chambers with a soft, steady glow. Every engine, every weapon system, and every defensive shield was tested again and again. Each system had been designed to survive a galaxy-wide attack, but now it was being awakened for the first time. Meanwhile, humans on scattered colonies received encrypted messages from Earth. These messages were carefully crafted, containing instructions, warnings, and updates. No one outside the hidden network could ever understand them. The messages reminded the survivors of their shared purpose: patience, preparation, and vigilance. Every generation learned the same lesson: that humanity's survival depended not on force, but on intelligence and foresight. For the young humans growing up in these hidden colonies, the universe seemed both enormous and dangerous. They were taught to fear the power of alien empires, yet also to respect it. They trained in engineering, navigation, and strategy. They learned to work as a team, understanding that every action they took could affect millions. And always they were reminded of the one goal that united them all: the day when Earth could reveal itself once again. Back on the planet itself, signs of awakening were becoming harder to hide. Ocean currents shifted subtly as undersea engines and energy conduits powered up. Volcanic systems beneath mountains released heat in controlled ways, as if Earth itself were testing the strength of the planet's defenses. Even the weather seemed to respond. Strange cloud formations and magnetic anomalies appeared, masking the activity below. From orbit, these signs could have seemed natural, but the humans watching knew better. Every pulse of energy, every flicker of light, was part of a deliberate, careful plan. The AI systems, which had been built using the knowledge of humanity's greatest minds, began sending instructions to the Dreadnoughts. These massive warships, hidden in secret hangars and under layers of the planet's crust, were powered up slowly. Engines that could propel entire fleets across the galaxy warmed to life. Energy shields capable of withstanding even the most powerful alien weapons stabilized. The humans watched every system, checking, rechecking, and fine-tuning. For centuries they had built these machines in secret. Now the machines were almost ready to awaken, and then the first external signs appeared. Alien scouts drawn by faint energy emissions began passing closer to Earth than ever before. They were unaware of the hidden cities, the AI systems, or the dreadnoughts waiting beneath the surface. They scanned for resources, for signs of activity, and for anything that might be valuable. But what they did not realize was that the planet they approached was no ordinary world. Earth was alive with preparation, a force waiting to show the galaxy that humanity had never truly been defeated. Humans observed the approaching fleets with calm determination. There was no fear, only focus. Every possible scenario had been calculated. Every potential threat had been considered. The dreadnoughts, though still hidden, were ready to respond instantly if necessary. Yet the humans hoped for now that confrontation could be avoided. Their goal was not war. It was survival, intelligence, and ensuring that the galaxy finally understood humanity's true strength. Over time, the alien fleets began to notice strange anomalies. Ships' systems malfunctioned in subtle ways when they passed near certain regions of space. Navigation instruments reported errors that could not be explained. Communications were disrupted, but only in brief, irregular bursts. No alien commander could understand what was happening, yet unease spread among the ranks. Some ships retreated while others pushed forward, driven by curiosity or orders they barely understood. The humans in command centers watched this carefully. Each reaction was noted, logged, and analyzed. The AIs suggested strategies, but the humans made the decisions. They were patient, disciplined, and deliberate. The galaxy had dismissed them, thought them extinct, and assumed that Earth was powerless. Now those assumptions were about to be challenged. Communication between hidden colonies intensified. Humans shared intelligence, coordinated monitoring, and refined contingency plans. Children trained in simulation programs, learning to operate systems and manage crises. Adults repaired ancient systems, ensuring that nothing would fail when the time came. Even the planet itself seemed to respond, as if Earth recognized that its species was ready to reclaim its place in the stars. Then came the first significant event. A distant fleet passed too close to Earth, drawn by energy readings that they could not identify. The humans monitored their approach, noting every maneuver, every communication, and every attempt to scan the planet. And then, for the first time, Earth responded, quietly, subtly, but undeniably. A pulse of energy was emitted from a hidden array deep beneath the surface. It was designed not to destroy, but to test. Alien sensors went haywire, communications became scrambled, and engines experienced minor malfunctions. The fleet realized something was happening, but they could not understand what. Some commanders ordered retreat. Others tried to probe further, only to find that instruments failed entirely. The humans watched silently, neither celebrating nor panicking. This was only the beginning. It was a demonstration of control, a small proof that Earth still held power. For centuries, they had waited for the right moment, and this was it. The first signal that humanity was ready to reveal that it had never truly disappeared. Every day, more subtle responses were tested. Energy pulses, minor gravitational shifts, and controlled anomalies all demonstrated the capabilities hidden beneath the planet's surface. The humans recorded everything, studied reactions, and refined strategies. They were not preparing to attack blindly. They were preparing to awaken the galaxy to the reality of Earth's hidden strength. Meanwhile, among the scattered colonies, humans continued to live ordinary lives as much as possible. Children went to schools, families shared meals, and communities celebrated small victories. Yet beneath this ordinary life lay extraordinary work. Every family, every teacher, every engineer was part of a larger plan that had been centuries in the making. Patience, discipline, and intelligence were taught as survival tools. Every action was meaningful, every decision carefully considered. And then, a breakthrough occurred. Alien fleets that had once ignored Earth began to report anomalies across multiple star systems, all originating from the planet. The data confused scientists, officers, and politicians alike. The readings were precise, controlled, and impossible to explain naturally. Some began to speculate about ancient technologies, while others feared a resurgence of humanity. But no one could act decisively because no one truly understood what they were facing. Deep below, humans observed this confusion with careful attention. They did not celebrate yet, nor did they consider the work complete. The dreadnoughts were still being prepared, the AIs still refining strategies, and the humans themselves still training for what was to come. They understood one critical truth. When the galaxy finally learned that humanity had not disappeared, the shock would be greater than any fleet, weapon, or empire could handle. And so, patience continued. Centuries of preparation, careful observation, and subtle testing had brought them to this moment. The signals, the pulses, the minor disruptions, they were all part of a single, larger plan. Humans had waited long enough. The galaxy had assumed Earth was powerless, extinct, and irrelevant. Soon, that assumption would be shattered. Every night, in hidden command centers, humans gathered around glowing displays, watching alien fleets, monitoring energy pulses, and recording every detail. They did not speak of conquest. They spoke of survival, intelligence, and the quiet pride of a species that had endured against all odds. Every gesture, every plan, every calculation was a step toward the moment when Earth would no longer be ignored. And in the silence of the hidden cities, under oceans, mountains, and deserts, humans whispered to one another. The Galax. After decades of quiet preparation, of patient observation and careful testing, the moment that humanity had waited for was finally beginning. For centuries, Earth had hidden its greatest secret. The dreadnoughts, colossal ships designed to protect the planet and its survivors, had been lying dormant beneath oceans, mountains, and deserts. Now they stirred. It began subtly. Across the planet, energy lines that had remained dormant for centuries hummed to life. Lights flickered deep underground, signaling that engines and systems were functioning. The AI systems, built by humans long ago, reported optimal performance. Every subsystem had been calibrated and tested countless times, yet the humans monitoring them still felt a thrill of excitement. They had built these machines in secrecy, knowing that the galaxy assumed Earth was powerless. And now, after so long, the truth was ready to reveal itself. The first dreadnought, known simply as Invictus, began its ascent. Massive, black as space itself, and shaped like no ship the galaxy had ever seen, it moved slowly but deliberately. From deep under the oceans, it broke through the water and then through the atmosphere. As it rose, it seemed to absorb light, its surface reflecting nothing but the darkness of space. No sensors from alien fleets could read its structure, and no weapon could penetrate its hull. Above the planet, the sight of Invictus was unlike anything ever recorded. Satellites that had long orbited Earth transmitted images of a massive object that seemed larger than a city, its size almost impossible to comprehend. Its engines glowed faintly with a steady blue light, silent yet powerful. From orbit, the dreadnought looked almost alive, as if it were a living guardian watching over its homeworld. The humans observing from underground command centers could hardly believe the scale of their creation. For centuries, they had planned, built, and maintained the dreadnoughts. They had measured every detail, tested every system, and ensured that nothing could go wrong. And yet seeing it finally rise above the surface, even they felt a mixture of awe and fear, awe for what humanity had accomplished and fear for the galaxy's reaction. Because the galaxy was watching. From distant systems, alien fleets detected the energy surge. Scanners that had failed to identify anything before now detected a colossal object moving above the planet. Reports poured into the Galactic Council. A massive ship unlike anything known had emerged from Earth. Panic rippled through the ranks. Historians and scientists argued over its origin. Diplomats debated its intent, and military leaders ordered fleets to mobilize. No one knew what they were facing. The galaxy had dismissed Earth for centuries. It had assumed that humans were extinct, that the planet was quiet, irrelevant, and powerless. But now that assumption was shattered. Alien commanders who had once treated Earth as a non-threat now feared every possible scenario. Some fleets hesitated, unsure whether to attack or retreat. Others tried to communicate, sending signals to the planet, but no response came. Only the hum of the Dreadnought systems. Inside the command centers beneath Earth, humans remained calm. The Dreadnought was not designed to attack recklessly. It was designed to protect, to warn, and to ensure that humanity's voice could be heard. Every pulse of its engines, every movement it made was carefully controlled. Humans coordinated with the AI systems, ensuring that the Dreadnought remained invisible to unnecessary threats, yet fully prepared to defend against any aggression. As Invictus rose higher, its presence became undeniable. The black surface of the ship seemed to swallow light, casting shadows across the clouds below. Its massive engines emitted energy waves that could be detected across light years. For the first time, the galaxy began to understand that Earth had never been as powerless as they had assumed. Every fleet that approached slowed. Every scanner that tried to analyze the ship failed. Some commanders even ordered their crews to step back, unsure whether to engage or flee. Humans watched quietly, knowing that the galaxy was learning a hard truth. Earth was alive. Earth was powerful, and humanity had never truly disappeared. For centuries, the planet had hidden in silence, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. That moment was now. The Dreadnought did not immediately attack. Its presence alone was a message. Across the galaxy, alien scientists and strategists scrambled to understand what they were seeing. The size of the ship, the energy signatures, and the sheer audacity of its design defied explanation. Some theorized that Earth had built a fleet of ships over centuries, hidden from detection. Others feared that humanity had developed new technology, far beyond what any civilization had imagined. And yet, despite its massive size and power, Invictus remained calm, deliberate, and controlled. It moved slowly across the skies, demonstrating strength without aggression. For the humans controlling it, this was the perfect moment. They had not returned to destroy. They had returned to remind the galaxy that they existed, and that their survival was not to be taken lightly. Alien fleets tried to respond. Some fired scanners, some launched reconnaissance probes, and some prepared weapons. But the Dreadnought was ready. Its shields, powered by systems that had been perfected over centuries, absorbed or deflected every attempt to penetrate. The humans controlling Invictus monitored each reaction, adjusting systems to ensure maximum efficiency while minimizing unnecessary confrontation. The first direct observation of the Dreadnought changed the galaxy forever. Reports came in from multiple systems, all describing the same phenomenon. A massive ship larger than any city, black as space, with energy systems that defied explanation, moving with precision and control. Scholars debated how it could exist. Diplomats argued over its intentions, and militaries prepared for scenarios they had never imagined. But the humans beneath Earth's surface were not worried. They knew the Dreadnought's purpose. It was a warning, not an attack. It was a reminder, not a threat. For centuries they had watched, waited, and prepared. Now the galaxy would see what they had built, what they had protected, and what they had endured. As the Dreadnought continued to rise, Earth itself seemed to respond. Storms that had been dormant for years gathered and dispersed in unusual patterns. Magnetic fields fluctuated slightly, creating visual effects that made the Dreadnought appear even more imposing from orbit. Even satellites that had been dormant for decades were activated to record the event, ensuring that no detail would be lost. The humans controlling Invictus knew that the galaxy's reaction would not be calm. Alien leaders feared the unknown, and rightfully so. No civilization had ever faced a species thought extinct, returning with power so vast it could not be measured by any known standard. Every decision made beneath the surface was calculated to ensure humanity's survival, while demonstrating their readiness to defend themselves. Then came the first contact. A small alien scout ship approached cautiously, trying to establish communication. Its instruments were scrambled by the Dreadnought systems, and its crew struggled to understand what was happening. For the humans observing, this was expected. It was a test, a measure of how the galaxy would respond, and the results were clear: fear, confusion, and awe. The scout ship retreated, unable to explain the event. Its reports spread quickly, reaching distant systems. Soon, the Galactic Council convened an emergency session. Every member debated the implications. Had humanity survived in secret for centuries? Had Earth developed technology far beyond what was thought possible? Or was this some new species entirely? Questions outnumbered answers, and the galaxy realized that it had underestimated a species it had long assumed was gone. Back on Earth, humans did not celebrate. They knew the work was only beginning. Invictus continued to rise slowly, deliberately, and with purpose. Its presence was a statement. Humanity was no longer hidden. The galaxy had been warned. The Dreadnought systems, calibrated for defense and observation, allowed the humans below to monitor every movement, every response, and every signal from the surrounding stars. For the first time in centuries, humans felt a sense of quiet pride. They had survived when everyone had assumed they were extinct. They had built systems and ships that no alien civilization could match, all in secret. And now the galaxy would see what Earth had been hiding all along. The Dreadnought's appearance marked the beginning of a new era. Humanity had not returned to conquer, but to reclaim its voice. The galaxy had dismissed them, ignored them, and assumed they were powerless. That illusion was gone. From that moment, every civilization in the stars would know that Earth was alive, humanity was strong, and the legends of the past were only the beginning. Every pulse of the Dreadnought, every movement across the planet was a reminder: humanity had endured. Earth had survived, and the galaxy would never forget it again. The galaxy was in chaos. News of Earth's Dreadnought, Invictus, had spread faster than anyone could have imagined. Reports arrived in every corner of the star systems. A massive ship, black as space, unlike anything known, had emerged above a planet long believed extinct. Commanders and scientists alike struggled to comprehend what they were seeing. Every scan, every analysis failed. The technology was beyond their understanding, the scale beyond their imagination. From deep underground on Earth, humans watched calmly. They had prepared for this moment for centuries, yet even they felt the weight of what was happening. The galaxy had dismissed them for so long, treating them as irrelevant and powerless. Now those assumptions were shattered. Every fleet, every council, every empire was watching, uncertain and afraid. The first response came from the Zarth Dominion, a military power known for its strict discipline and aggressive tactics. A fleet of dozens of ships approached cautiously, trying to determine whether the Dreadnought was a threat. Their sensors picked up energy readings that made them hesitate. The hull of the Dreadnought seemed impenetrable, its shields far beyond anything they had ever encountered. Their weapon systems malfunctioned when they tried to scan it. It was as if the ship itself was alive, reacting to every attempt to probe it. Humans monitored every move. They had no intention of starting a war, not yet. The Dreadnought's purpose was clear. It was a warning, a reminder that humanity had survived, that Earth was no longer a forgotten planet. But the humans also knew that power alone could send a message. Invictus was capable of overwhelming any fleet, destroying any ship that threatened it. And if the aliens did not heed the warning, the consequences would be unavoidable. The first display of power was deliberate. The Dreadnought emitted a controlled energy pulse. It was not an attack in the traditional sense. No explosions, no destruction, only a wave of energy that passed harmlessly through space. But it was enough to disable several ships in the approaching fleet. Their engines failed, communications went offline, and systems went dark. Panic spread quickly. The Zarth Dominion fleet retreated, unable to understand what had just happened. Reports of the event reached other empires immediately, spreading fear across the galaxy. In the councils of the stars, leaders argued and debated. Some believed humanity had secretly developed technology far beyond comprehension. Others feared that Earth had hidden fleets throughout the galaxy, waiting for this very moment. Scholars tried to analyze the events, but there were no data points, no history to guide them. Humanity had returned in a way that no one expected, and the galaxy was terrified. Back on Earth, the humans were not celebrating. They understood the gravity of the situation. The Dreadnought had demonstrated its power, but it had not attacked recklessly. Its purpose was to communicate a message. Humanity was alive, strong, and ready. The humans controlling Invictus watched every fleet, every signal, every response. Their centuries of preparation had not been wasted. Now the galaxy would learn that Earth was not to be ignored. Messages began to reach the Galactic Council. They were fragmented at first, difficult to decipher. The Dreadnought's systems communicated in a human language, one that had been dormant in the galaxy for centuries. The words were simple, yet their meaning was clear. Do not underestimate us. Do not assume we are gone. We have returned to protect ourselves. The council members were stunned. Communications experts scrambled to decode the transmissions, while military leaders prepared fleets for confrontation. Yet the Dreadnought did not fire weapons indiscriminately. It remained a sentinel above the planet, calm, imposing, and deliberate. It was a display of controlled power, a lesson that the galaxy could not ignore. In the Zarth Dominion, the retreating fleet attempted to regroup. Ships repaired, systems rebooted, and commanders tried to analyze what had happened, but their instruments failed to produce any useful data. The Dreadnought was not a conventional threat. It was something entirely different. Engineers and scientists speculated about the technology, the energy systems, and the power source, but no answer satisfied them. All they knew was that Earth had become a force to be reckoned with. Meanwhile, humans beneath the planet's surface continued their monitoring. Every fleet movement, every council session, every signal from the stars was recorded. They adjusted, the Dreadnought's position slightly, testing alien reactions without causing unnecessary damage. The goal was never to attack first, but to demonstrate capability and resolve. Humanity had waited for centuries for this opportunity. Every careful calculation, every strategic decision, every hidden system had been designed to ensure that when Earth finally revealed itself, it would do so in a way that no one could ignore. Alien fleets began to spread out, cautious now, trying to avoid direct confrontation with the Dreadnought. Commanders feared provoking Earth, unsure what kind of retaliation might follow. Across multiple star systems, scientists reported unusual gravitational anomalies, energy fluctuations, and strange readings that seemed to originate from the planet. Panic spread through the galaxy, not because Earth had attacked, but because no one could understand what it was capable of. The humans controlling Invictus used this confusion strategically. Every movement, every energy pulse, every display of power was calculated to send a message without initiating unnecessary violence. They had survived centuries of hiding, and now their message was clear. Humanity was no longer silent, and Earth was no longer defenseless. Within the underground command centers, humans communicated with scattered colonies. Families, engineers, and scientists shared data, coordinated strategies, and prepared for possible escalations. Children trained in simulations, learning to operate complex systems and anticipate alien responses. Adults maintained the Dreadnought systems, ensuring optimal performance. Everyone understood the stakes. Humanity had been underestimated for centuries. Now the galaxy was learning the truth. The first official human communication reached alien systems soon after. A clear message was broadcast, simple but firm. We are here. We are alive. Do not threaten us. We seek only survival, not conquest. The message spread like wildfire. Diplomatic channels opened hesitantly. Scientists attempted to verify the transmission. Military leaders debated potential responses. Fear was pervasive. No one knew how to respond to a species thought extinct, returning with technology far beyond anything previously known. Despite the tension, the humans remained calm. The Dreadnought had not fired a single shot except for controlled pulses designed to test the galaxy's reactions. Every action was deliberate, calculated to demonstrate power without unnecessary destruction. They understood that the galaxy was unprepared for this moment. Every fleet, every council, every civilization was witnessing a species that had endured against all odds, returning to claim its place among the stars. The first direct confrontation was avoided, but tension remained high. Alien fleets continued to orbit cautiously, attempting to decipher the Dreadnought's capabilities. They deployed probes, tested sensors, and analyzed every energy pulse, but nothing could penetrate Invictus's systems. The humans controlling it observed every reaction, learning as much as they could from the galaxy's responses. Their patience, discipline, and centuries of preparation allowed them to remain in control while sending a clear message. Earth was no longer to be ignored. In distant colonies, humans celebrated quietly. They understood the significance of the Dreadnought's emergence. It was not just a machine. It was a symbol of survival, intelligence, and resilience. For centuries, humanity had been underestimated. Now, the galaxy was learning the truth. Earth was alive, humans were strong, and their return was deliberate. As the Dreadnought hovered above the planet, its presence alone reshaped galactic strategy. Fleets hesitated, trade routes were altered, and councils debated possible outcomes. The fear of provoking Earth caused empires to reconsider aggressive plans. Diplomats attempted cautious contact. Scientists sought understanding. And humans, quietly watching from below, knew that patience and preparation had brought them to this moment. The energy pulses continued, controlled and precise, demonstrating the Dreadnought's capabilities without causing unnecessary destruction. Every move was calculated to send a clear signal. Humanity had survived, and Earth was no longer a powerless, forgotten world. Alien commanders realized that they were facing a species that had endured centuries of near extinction, yet had emerged stronger than ever. For humans on Earth, the experience was surreal. They had waited for centuries, hidden in silence, only to witness the galaxy react in fear and awe. The Dreadnought was more than a weapon. It was a statement, a reminder, and a warning. And as long as it hovered above the planet, controlled by human hands, the galaxy would remember that Earth had survived, and humanity would not be ignored again. Every energy pulse, every calculated display of power, every carefully measured action sent the same message. We have endured. We are here. Respect us, or face the consequences. And with that, the first stage of humanity's return was complete. The galaxy had never seen anything like it. Earth's Dreadnought, Invictus, hung silently above the planet, its massive black hull absorbing light and radiating quiet authority. After the first warning pulses, alien fleets hesitated. Some withdrew to reassess, while others debated cautiously among themselves. But soon, one of the larger empires, the Viral Collective, decided to test the limits of the unknown. The Viral dispatched a fleet, the largest to approach Earth so far. Ships bristled with weapons, energy shields glowed, and thousands of crew members prepared for confrontation. They assumed they would assert dominance, perhaps even intimidate this long-forgotten species. But what they did not know was that every movement they made had been anticipated for centuries. The humans controlling Invictus had calculated nearly every possible scenario, every strategy, every mistake that could be made. From the command centers deep under Earth's surface, humans monitored the approaching fleet with calm focus. There was no fear, only precision. For centuries, they had prepared for this moment, the first direct encounter with an alien power that believed humans were extinct. Every system of Invictus had been tested, refined, and optimized. The Dreadnought could fire with devastating accuracy, shield itself from any attack, and move with unmatched speed for its size. And yet the humans controlling it chose restraint. The first communication attempt came in a flood of alien signals. The Viral fleet demanded to know the intentions of Earth. Their scanners had been overwhelmed, instruments failing as soon as they approached the planet. Weapons were ready to fire, but even the bravest commanders hesitated. Invictus responded with a single pulse of light. Not destructive, but powerful enough to disable propulsion systems across several ships. It was a message. Earth was prepared, but Earth did not wish for unnecessary bloodshed. The humans inside the command centers watched as alien ships struggled to regain control. Some vessels drifted helplessly, engines unable to restart. Communications were scrambled. Panic spread quickly among the crews. The Virel commanders were forced to admit that they had underestimated humanity, and that their first impression of Earth as powerless had been dangerously wrong. A moment of silence followed. Then the Dreadnought broadcasted a message in clear human language, reaching the fleets, the council, and distant observers. We are humans. We have survived. We do not seek conquest, but we will protect ourselves. Any aggression against our world will have consequences you cannot imagine. The words were simple, but their meaning resonated across the galaxy. Alien leaders debated furiously. Some urged negotiation. Others demanded immediate action, unwilling to admit that a species they had assumed extinct could command such power. Within the Virel fleet, uncertainty grew. Some ships moved cautiously backward, while others hesitated to act at all. The Dreadnought had not attacked destructively, yet it had already demonstrated that any attempt to force Earth's hand could be catastrophic. The humans controlling Invictus continued to observe and calculate. They knew the Virel fleet's capabilities, how their weapons worked, and what they might attempt next. The Dreadnought did not move aggressively, but every system was ready. Shields were at full power, energy cannons charged, and defensive drones deployed in invisible patterns around the hull. Every move was precise, intended to assert dominance without provoking full-scale war. Then came the first real test. One of the Virel commanders, frustrated and unwilling to back down, ordered a missile barrage. Tens of thousands of projectiles hurtled toward Invictus, each faster than light. For a brief moment, it seemed as if the Dreadnought might be struck, but in reality the humans had anticipated every trajectory. Using advanced energy fields and defensive protocols, Invictus absorbed the missiles, vaporized them in midair, and rerouted the remaining energy harmlessly into space. Not a single human life was at risk. The Virel were stunned. They realized that their most powerful attack had failed before it even reached the ship. Panic and awe rippled through their ranks. Many ships attempted to retreat, while others tried to scan the Dreadnought again only to fail. It became clear that Earth's guardians had technology far beyond anything known in the galaxy. For the humans inside the command centers, this was not a moment of triumph, but of focus. Every signal, every reaction, every energy pulse was being recorded. The galaxy's response was being studied carefully. The humans knew that fear could be a tool. It could prevent unnecessary attacks, create caution, and force even the most aggressive civilizations to reconsider their actions. Every calculation was deliberate. The Dreadnought was not a weapon of revenge. It was a reminder, a guardian, and a diplomatic statement of power. Communication was attempted again, this time in a more deliberate manner. The Dreadnought projected holographic images visible to the Virel fleet, showing humans beneath the planet's surface the immense scale of the hidden cities, and the massive Dreadnought fleet still concealed underground. We have survived centuries of isolation. We have learned, we have prepared, and we will defend our world. You may choose war or you may choose peace. The decision is yours. The Virel commanders were shaken. They realized the enormity of what they were facing. Earth was no longer a quiet, forgotten planet. Humanity had survived extinction, hidden for centuries, and now returned with overwhelming power. Their assumptions about humans being weak and irrelevant had been completely wrong. The Dreadnought was a warning, a demonstration, and a challenge all at once. Some Virel ships attempted a cautious approach, signaling that they wanted to negotiate. Others remained ready to fight, unsure if diplomacy could succeed. The humans controlling Invictus observed carefully. Their goal was never to destroy unnecessarily, but to establish authority and secure Earth's safety. Every movement of the Dreadnought reinforced that message. Humanity had the power to defend itself completely, yet it preferred caution and reason over mindless aggression. The first direct encounter was concluded without mass destruction, but the impact was monumental. Alien fleets withdrew to reassess. Across the galaxy, civilizations debated how to respond. Scholars analyzed the energy signatures, Diplomats argued about potential treaties. Military leaders realized that Earth could not be ignored, that any assumptions of weakness were dangerously incorrect. Humans on Earth reflected quietly on the encounter. They had demonstrated their power, defended themselves, and sent a clear warning, all without unnecessary violence. Centuries of preparation, planning, and hidden work had culminated in a single, decisive moment. Humanity had survived when the galaxy assumed it could not. Humanity had returned not for revenge, but to protect itself and assert its place among the stars. Even after the fleets retreated, the Dreadnought remained above the planet. Its massive silhouette darkened the clouds, a silent guardian reminding the galaxy of what humanity had achieved. Below, humans continued their monitoring, adjusting systems and observing responses. The galaxy had learned that Earth was no longer a quiet, forgotten world. Messages continued to flow cautiously. Alien civilizations sought clarification, reassurance, and understanding. Humans responded carefully, emphasizing survival, protection, and diplomacy. The Dreadnought's presence had shifted the balance of perception. No civilization could now assume humans were extinct, powerless, or irrelevant. Every interaction reinforced the same truth. Humanity had endured, and Earth's guardians were ready to protect their home. The encounter left lasting impressions. Scientists across the galaxy studied energy readings they could not replicate. Military leaders revised strategies for interacting with humans. Diplomats debated whether to pursue treaties or maintain distance. Fear, respect, and caution spread across systems that had once ignored Earth. The legend of humanity's survival was no longer a story. It was a reality witnessed in real time. Humans on Earth did not celebrate loudly. There was no triumphalism, only calm, careful observation. They knew the galaxy's reaction was only the beginning. Centuries of preparation had brought them to this moment, but vigilance remained essential. The Dreadnoughts were ready, humans were ready, and Earth was prepared to defend itself for as long as necessary. And as Invictus continued to hover above the planet, its massive engines glowing faintly in the light of the sun, humans reflected on a single truth. The galaxy would never again forget that humanity had survived. The first direct encounter had proven their strength, intelligence, and discipline. It had established a warning and a promise. Earth would endure and humanity would protect itself no matter the challenge. The galaxy was changed forever. The first direct encounter with Earth's Dreadnought, Invictus, had left alien fleets stunned, confused, and in awe. News traveled faster than any fleet could move. Systems that had once ignored Earth now debated cautiously how to respond. Councils that had dismissed humanity as extinct scrambled to understand what had happened. And through it all, humans below the planet's surface watched quietly, their centuries of preparation proving that patience, intelligence, and discipline could accomplish what fear and violence could not. For the humans inside the command centers, the work was far from over. Invictus had demonstrated its power, but it had not yet completed its mission: to establish humanity's presence and ensure that no one in the galaxy could ever underestimate Earth again. Every system of the Dreadnought remained operational, ready to act if needed. Its sensors scanned the stars constantly, watching for signs of aggression, curiosity, or negotiation. And slowly, humans began to understand the next step: a balance between visibility and caution. The Dreadnought remained above the planet for several days. It moved deliberately, shifting position over oceans, deserts, and mountain ranges. Each movement was a subtle display of capability. From orbit, alien observers saw a massive black ship larger than anything in their history, hovering with silent authority. Its energy systems pulsed faintly, almost like a heartbeat, a reminder that humanity was not only alive but fully prepared. During this time, humans on Earth broadcast their final, clear message across the galaxy. It was not a threat, nor was it boastful. It was simple, deliberate, and firm. We are humans. We have survived centuries of isolation, preparation, and challenge. We seek peace, knowledge, and cooperation. We do not wish to conquer, but we will defend our world. Respect our existence, and the galaxy may know prosperity. Threaten us, and the consequences will be absolute. The transmission reached every known star system. Scholars, diplomats, and military commanders listened in disbelief. The message was calm yet carried weight. For the first time in centuries, humans had spoken to the galaxy not as myths, legends, or forgotten stories, but as a real, living, powerful species. Every civilization, from the smallest trading empire to the most powerful fleets, understood that the galaxy would need to adapt to this new reality. After sending the message, humans began preparing the strategic retreat of Invictus. The Dreadnought did not need to remain permanently above the planet. Its presence had been noticed and its power demonstrated. Now it was time to vanish, leaving behind the knowledge that humanity had returned, but without offering unnecessary opportunity for miscalculation or escalation. The retreat was as precise as the Dreadnought's emergence. Using cloaking systems and deep orbit maneuvering, Invictus descended into the oceans back to its hidden hangars. Alien fleets attempting to track it were left confused. Instruments failed to record the ship's movements accurately. By the time the Viral Collective and other empires attempted to approach, the Dreadnought had disappeared from view, leaving behind only the faint traces of energy that confirmed Earth's technological superiority. Inside the command centers, humans monitored the retreat carefully. There was no jubilation, only satisfaction and focus. The galaxy had witnessed humanity's survival, power, and patience. Every fleet had learned a lesson. Humans were not extinct, and Earth was no longer a planet to be overlooked. The Dreadnoughts remained ready, hidden and silent, a reminder that humans could act decisively if necessary. In the days following Invictus's retreat, alien civilizations began reaching out cautiously. Some sent emissaries to negotiate, seeking alliances or treaties. Others observed from a distance, trying to analyze the technology and energy signatures left behind. Humans responded with care. They emphasized diplomacy, communication, and mutual respect. The centuries of planning had taught them that survival depended not only on power, but on strategy, patience, and the ability to shape perception. Throughout Earth, humans reflected on the events. Families in hidden cities, children learning history and science, engineers maintaining the systems, all understood the significance of what had occurred. Humanity had returned not through brute force but through intelligence, preparation, and controlled demonstration of capability. The galaxy had seen what they were capable of, and now it would respect them. The Dreadnoughts themselves, still hidden beneath oceans, mountains, and deserts, became symbols of security and legacy. Each one represented centuries of knowledge, survival, and ingenuity. Humans continued their maintenance, upgrades, and monitoring, knowing that the galaxy had changed, but the work of protection never ended. Every pulse, every calibration, every observation was part of a commitment to ensure that Earth and its people could never again be taken by surprise. Over time, alien civilizations began to accept the new reality. Treaties were proposed. Trade agreements were cautiously drafted. Scientific collaboration was suggested. Even military strategists came to recognize that aggression toward Earth would be disastrous. Humans did not rush to accept or reject these overtures. Instead, they evaluated carefully, ensuring that any interaction respected the planet's sovereignty and the survival of the species' children. Trained in hidden schools, grew up knowing that their species had survived extinction and returned stronger than ever. Stories of the Dreadnoughts and the first encounter with alien fleets were taught as lessons, emphasizing patience, intelligence, and restraint over recklessness. Adults continued to maintain the systems, repair the machines, and monitor alien movements. Every human understood the delicate balance of power they now held. The planet itself seemed to breathe with humanity. Oceans, mountains, and forests had hidden the Dreadnoughts for centuries, and now they continued to shield the last remnants of these massive machines. Energy systems were monitored constantly, environmental balance maintained, and technological infrastructure preserved. Earth had become both a sanctuary and a symbol, a living proof of resilience and foresight. The Galactic Council, now forced to acknowledge humanity's presence, began to formalize communications. Representatives from distant civilizations traveled cautiously to Earth, often negotiating remotely or through secure transmissions. Humans established protocols ensuring that every interaction emphasized peace, respect, and mutual understanding. Aggression was deterred not only by power, but by the galaxy's understanding of the consequences. As the years passed, humanity's story spread across the stars. No longer a forgotten legend, humans became a symbol of survival, intelligence, and resilience. Other species studied their technology, learned from their diplomacy, and adapted their strategies. Humanity's patient return demonstrated that survival was not about immediate conquest or aggression, but about careful planning, observation, and measured action. In the hidden cities beneath the planet, humans reflected quietly on what had been accomplished. They had survived centuries of isolation. They had built machines and systems beyond imagination. They had confronted the galaxy, demonstrated power, and communicated a clear message. Most importantly, they had done so without unnecessary violence, relying instead on intelligence, discipline, and restraint. Invictus and its sister Dreadnoughts remained in readiness, silent sentinels waiting beneath the planet's surface. Humans understood that the galaxy would continue to test, probe, and challenge them. But the lessons of patience and preparation had been learned. Every generation knew that the key to survival was vigilance, knowledge, and the quiet power of a species that refused to be forgotten. The final message humanity sent to the galaxy reinforced the lessons learned. We have returned. We will protect our world. We will not seek conquest, but we will defend ourselves. Respect our existence, and we may work together for mutual growth. Underestimate us, and you will face consequences that cannot be measured. Humanity endures. Earth endures. This message echoed through star systems, reaching distant civilizations and shaping the future of interstellar relations. No longer myths, no longer legends, humans were a living, breathing force in the galaxy. Every fleet, every council, every trader now understood that Earth was alive, its guardians powerful, and its people patient but prepared. For humans, the story of survival, resilience, and strategic demonstration of power became a guiding principle. They had endured extinction-level threats hidden for centuries and returned with intelligence, discipline, and foresight. Their legacy was no longer just a story. It was a living reality, one that the galaxy would never forget, and so Earth's hidden dreadnoughts rested in their secret hangars. The humans beneath the planet continued their watch, and the galaxy adjusted to the presence of a species it had once dismissed. Patience had won, preparation had paid off, and humanity had finally reclaimed its place among the stars. The galaxy would never again doubt Earth, nor the species that had endured beyond all expectation. Humanity had survived, humanity had returned, and humanity would endure forever.